All right, thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching Business Nigeria. Transcorp Power PLC, one of the subsidiaries of Transcorp Group, has hit significant milestones in financial performance for the fiscal year 2024, signaling growth in revenue and profitability. The power company, in its latest audited results submitted to the Nigerian Exchange, reports a 115% increase in revenue and a 165% growth in profit after tax, demonstrating strong operational and strategic execution. The report shows that the company's gross profit grew by 89% from 75.4 billion naira financial year 2023 to 142.2 billion naira financial year 2024. It also shows that return on assets increased from 13.53% in 2023 to 20.17% in 2024. Chairman of Transcorp Power, Mr. Emmanuel Norum, emphasized the company's focus on stakeholders' value, making it one of Nigeria's most formidable power operators. Also, the Chief Executive Officer of Transcorp Power, Mr. Peter Ikenga, attributed the results to the company's strategic investment and a deliberate focus on enhancing operational efficiencies. With me in the studio, live is the Chief Financial Officer of Transcorp Power PLC, Mr. Evans Okpogoro. Good afternoon. It's good to have you here.
Good afternoon. Good to see you too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we should start with this impressive performance, like I said in my figures. 115% increase in revenue and 165% increase profit after tax. Now, what specific strategy and investment contributed to this, let me say, record-breaking performance?
Yes, Tolu, good performance indeed. But before we go into the numbers, just to take a step back, 7% of the national grid.
7%?
Yeah. So if you compare what we have versus what is the national grid's capacity, it's 7%. Yeah. But what do we produce? What is our output? Currently, we are producing 10% of what the national output is. What that tells you is that we are contributing more than our fair share to the national output in terms of electricity. However, we're not stopping there, but just to put that in perspective, and also to look at it from another perspective is the fact that Transcorp Power is the market leader, right? We have the largest number of fleets. We have 18 gas turbines, and of course, we are gas-fired. And the numbers you just read out, 115% growth in revenue, didn't just happen today. That has been our track record over the last years. Year on year, we continue to grow in terms of our performance. And you see that between 2023 and 2024, our revenue had grown by 115%.
Yeah.
However, if you do a compound annual growth rate for the last 5 years, that revenue has grown by 37%. Wow. And our profit over a compounded annual growth rate is grown by 57%. As an investor, what do you mean? Wow. That is the kind of investment you would like to put your money into. Yeah, so we are driven by operational efficiency. And at Transcorp, we are driven by our 3 core E's: execution, excellence, and enterprise. Doing it right the first time without impacting negatively on the environment, on health, because of course we operate a safe operation, right? So our efficiency, we focus more on efficiency, right? Yeah. And you would know that of the public quoted company in Nigeria in 2025, Transcorp Power is the first to have completed its audited account within 3 weeks after year end. And that simply tells you the kind of people we have. Very motivated, passionate, and the type of leadership we have. We have a very strong and robust and diversified experienced board led by Mr. Emmanuel Norum, who is also a chartered accountant. So again, these numbers, we are not strange to producing these numbers. Year on year, we continue to produce significant number, like you see, 115% growth in revenue. We told them at the Nigeria Stock Exchange when we were listed.
I remember I was there. That was last year.
On the 4th of March. We said we're going to hit 500 billion in 2030, right? Then we're at 100. Now, however, a year after, we have crossed over 300 billion, right? So it makes me see that, you know, that 500 billion, most likely, we're going to smash it in 2025.
That's serious. So you can say the focus on operational efficiency has really impacted the overall financial stability. That's and that's what we are seeing. You agree with me?
Correct.
Wow,
Correct.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because really, in spite of the difficulty, the challenges in the market, in spite of the macro, in the sector, and the macroeconomy that we face today, we've been able to surpass these numbers. And that's because our focus is on excellency. We're excellent on our job, and we are efficient. Because you have to be efficient. Otherwise, you would wipe out your revenue. And that's what you're saying. We have to operate efficiently.
With the complete repayment of the USD loans and, of course, significant reduction in the gearing ratio, now, how has this improved the company's financial flexibility and, of course, positioning it for future growth?
Very important, because the USD loan also exposed us to FS losses. You know what's happening at the markets right now, right? We've taken a lot of hits in that, but the board was disciplined to ensure that we pay off this USD obligation, and we've paid it off. So we have the USD inflows today, repaying our other dollar obligation because our business is capital intensive, and we have to import these parts from overseas, and we have to pay in USD. So again, you would see that we now have what we refer to as free cash flow, right, which would enable us to invest and expand in terms of our CapEx operation. So it leaves us with a lot of stability from a financial point of view. We don't need to go to the bank to look for money, to borrow money. We raise money, we generate money internally, and that money is enabling us to expand because there's a lot coming from our end. I bet you by the year end, we are adding additional 100 megawatt capacity to what we currently have. And that is growth. That's growth. And that's what you continue to see from Transcorp Power.
Dividends of ₦5 per share. How does this reflect your commitment now to rewarding your shareholders?
Ironically, at the last AGM in Abuja, the shareholders, we paid ₦3.13, right? And precisely ₦3.128, right? And the shareholders were praying that in the next AGM, we're going to pay ₦5. And again, the board has now recommended a full-year dividend of ₦5. We had paid an interim dividend of 1.5 after the half-year results were released, and we're now going to pay the other part of the dividend after the AGM when the shareholders approved and ratifies it. Now, as Transcorp, what we typically do is create value. That's what we're known for. We create value for our shareholders. As you would see in our numbers, if you look at our return on equity, it's grown from 52% last year to 63%, telling you how we have utilized shareholders' funds to generate or create value for them. Now, and if you look at our return on assets, we've grown from 14% last year to 20% this year. That also tells you, from a finance point, how we are utilizing the asset of the company to generate revenue. And that's significant for us because all we do is create value for all our stakeholders, especially our shareholders. And I can also guess, from what I see, the board will likely declare an interim dividend mid-year once we release the half-year report for 2025.
That's big news.
That's big news. So the shareholders will be smiling to the bank shortly.
That's big news. Now, together with your sister company, now that's Transcorp Power Limited, contributing over 20%, right? Am I correct? That's to the national installed power capacity. But how are you working further to bridge this gap? You talked about hitting 100 megawatts by end year again. Correct. But what challenges do you face in doing this, and how are you doing to bridge this energy gap?
So we have a long-term strategy, right? Transcorp Power is not a company for the now. It's a company for the future. We're building to last. That is the long-term goal of the organization. And with the highly motivated and passionate staff, you know that we can get that done with the right leadership that we have at the moment guiding us properly. So, you know, the challenge we have, being a gas-fired plant, obviously is gas. And you're in the business world, you understand what's happening in gas. There's a lot of investment required to recover a lot of gas because Nigeria have huge potential in gas, if you know. But a lot is required, and the government is looking in that space as well to invest more in gas. And that is the challenge we have. But good enough for Transcorp Power, we're immune from some of these crises because we are the only plant that we have a gas well behind us that flows gas to us directly. So there's no day we will not have gas to supply. However, we also have gas suppliers who are very good partners with us, who ensure that we have gas to power Nigeria. So in the long term, we are not just going to be doing 10% of the national grid, right? We want to grow into doing 25%. That's the long-term goal, where we're going to power 1 of every 4 homes in Nigeria. That's the vision of the organization. And we are committed to that because that is what we are built for, to improve lives and transform society.
Getting more interesting, but beyond financial performance now, yes, I'm always interested in the money. That's where we go. That's the business thing. But how does Transcorp Power now align with your operations with Nigeria's broader economic and sustainable development goals?
So let me also mention that we are not just focused on powering Nigeria or the money. We are, we are the proponents of Afro-capitalism, believing that Africa must develop Africa. And the future of Africa is in Africa. So we are the proponent of that. So we live to our words, right? So in Transcorp Power, we are involved in bursary awards to our host community to ensure the students go to school. We are involved. By the way, we have a Transcorp Power School, one of the best schools in Delta State. You could check for yourself, make your research. Transcorp Power School graduated a lot. And the good news is we have some of them working for us in the plant who had graduated from our school, went to the university, and they are currently working with us. So Transcorp Power, beyond the money,
local content.
Yes, that's local content. So beyond the money, we have a school that we run. We also have community projects that we. So in fact, in terms of community relationship, no one beats us to that because we believe Africa must develop Africa and we must develop Nigeria ourselves. And that is something that is in our DNA. We hold that dearly.
I know Mr. Lumine doesn't joke with that when it comes to
Thank you very much.
Let's look at those challenges. We didn't touch on some of them. There are some challenges also, at least in executing all of this. Can we talk about them and how you're trying to address them?
Yeah, so the challenges around of course, you understand the macroeconomic challenges that we have. But in dealing with the community issues, I will tell you we have 3 host communities, and they are very friendly, very friendly. In fact, it will be, I don't want to say it because I'm on national TV, they are more like our security. You cannot come down and do anything. The community protects us. We have a very good relationship with the host community. And by the way, I'm from that region as well. And there's no better way to discuss CSRO when the chief finance officer is from that place. So there's no better way to explain it.
Interesting stuff. Let's look ahead now. What's your long-term vision for Transcorp Power, of course, and how do you plan to maintain consistent growth across financial and operational metrics?
So like I did mention that our goal, we are built to last. The long-term goal is to power 1 in every 4 homes in Nigeria, meaning that we are going to account for 25% of Nigeria's electricity need, right? And how are we going to do that? At the moment, there are short-term plans and there are long-term plans. The short-term plan is to continue to recover capacity. I did mention, just so for your information, last year, we recovered 125 additional megawatts to our capacity, projecting us and preparing us for this financial year. Now, before the end of the year, the board is committed to returning additional 100 megawatts. So those are our short-term goals, to recover additional capacity. But the long-term goal, you will see us go into other spheres of electricity, like the renewables, the likes of the hydros and solar. That's the long-term goal. But we are gradually coming in that space, and you will begin to hear more from us as we progress along in that space. But bear in mind that the goal for us is to power 1 in every 4 homes in Nigeria.
That is
it's huge.
It's huge.
It's audacious because that's what we are. We have a very aggressive growth agenda. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So what more do you think Nigerians would like to know about your moving forward, your shareholders and all? What more would you like to tell them?
I've had shareholders, after the results were published, I've had shareholders call me. They want more of the shares. And by the way, if you do not have our shares, you should go get. Because very soon
it's available for
it's available if you I could give you a stockbroker's details that you connect with. Because very soon the prices will be all over the roof, right? Because the market is beginning to see the value in Transcorp Power. The market is waking up to it because
less than 12 months.
Yes, less than 12 months. Yes. And we have an exponential growth. We are prepared for this year as well. From what we've seen already, for what we see already, we see us hitting that 500 billion. As the CFO, I can say that clearly. I see us hitting that 500 billion by the end of this year.
You've heard it from the money man, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Transcorp Power PLC, Mr. Evans Okpogoro. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being on the show.
Such a nice time to talk to you.
Yes, so thank you so much.
We'll see again.
All right, we'll see again.
Thank you.
I have so many things to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, we'll